Hi guys, welcome back. It is a monthly favorites. This one is so late in the month. I know, but I wanted to talk to you guys about my 31 days of horror within this video. So I just had to wait until all the movies were locked in. So I will be announcing the movies within this video, and I'm actually going to show you the intro for this year's 31 days of horror, which I'm so excited about. But I do have to talk about a few things quickly first. Number one, obviously I am wearing this amazing, sorry, you probably can't even see down there, but I'm wearing Amy's Crypt merch. If you don't know who Amy is, she's an Australian who travels the world finding the most haunted, spooky dooky places, and she is just the sweetest person. I love her so much. And if you haven't checked out her stuff, I will link her down below, but just so you know, I'm wearing her merch. That's what I'm wearing. Big fan. I also wanted to mention really quickly, because I know I get a lot of comments about this, Tigers Are Not Afraid has come out on Shudder, I believe, in most countries. I actually saw the film last year. It was part of a film festival that I got to see a couple of these films beforehand. I really liked the film. I think I gave it a 7 out of 10 because I felt like there was a little bit of a pacing issue, even though the film is quite short and the CGI kind of, yeah, you'll see. So if you're wondering if I'm going to do a review about it, I'm not going to do a review, but I am wholeheartedly recommending it to all of you. I think that some of you guys out there will absolutely love it. It's really heartfelt, it's quite sad, and yeah, it's a beautiful and different film. So if you're thinking, should I watch it? I'm going to give you some thumbs up. Go watch it. Go check it out for yourselves. I'm sure a lot of you guys will rate it much higher than I did. It's been a while since I've seen it, obviously, so I can't really remember everything, but I do remember thinking I just didn't have enough to say about it in the review. So if you're waiting for my review, it's not going to happen, but this is my recommendation that you do watch it. It is definitely worth your time. The next thing I had to update you guys quickly on is my meetup in LA. I am doing a meetup. It's going to be on the 2nd of November at 2 p.m. I will have the link down there that you need to register your interest, so I know if we go over a certain amount of people, we have to change location. So please let me know if you're going to come. I can't wait to meet you guys. You can see how short I really am in person. I am very short. If you did not know that, you probably could never tell because I'm always sitting down. Obviously, it's free. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to hang out with you, say hi, give you a hug, all that good stuff. And the last thing before we get into 31 days of horror is my next stat video is coming up, and a lot of you guys who just follow me on YouTube didn't get to be part of the last couple ones. So this time I'm doing a little bit different. I'm actually doing a survey. So if you just go down to the link below, and the reason I'm doing it this way is because when I did it on Twitter, which was where a lot of people voted, they could see each other's answers and be influenced, and I think it would be really good to have an anonymous kind of platform. So I'm doing it this way, and you can just vote. Go and have a look at the question. Go have a look at the question down below and give your personal opinion. Don't guess what everyone else is going to guess. That's not what we want. We want your opinion. The whole point of it is it's meant to be compared to what websites think horror fans like compared to what horror fans actually like. So make sure you put down brutal, honest answers, and I can't wait to do that. It's going to be in a couple of weeks. Now I've got all of that out of the way, I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek at the good stuff. This is going to be the 31 days of horror theme. Firstly, if you don't know what 31 days of horror is, it is a lot. Every year during October, I do 31 videos, which are 31 vlog style reviews, which you guys have been loving the vlog style reviews, so this is perfect this year. If you watch my video Nasties reactions or my guinea pig films reactions, you'll love this. Every single day, I choose a movie that I've never seen before. A lot of them are classics as well, which I don't talk about or get a chance to talk about a lot on this channel. And they're all recommended by you guys, and some of them are gonna surprise you this year. I promise you. I haven't seen some classics, and it's a little bit scary. And you get to tune in every single day, and I do a vlog style reaction of what I thought of the film. The point of me giving you this list early is so that you guys can collect the films if you want, and then you can watch them every single day and then see my reaction straight after you've watched it. And it's just a really fun way to get out a lot of movies within 1 month. It's a lot of content. But without further ado, here is the premiere of my 31 Days of Horror intro for 2019. I hope you guys love that intro. I always like doing them. I love putting them together. So I hope you enjoyed that and it amped you up. These are the movies for the 31 Days of Horror. Don't worry, you don't have to go through them so quickly. I will put up a post on my YouTube. I will put it up on my Twitter. I'll put it on my Instagram stories. I'll probably put a highlight. So it'll be everywhere. So you can go to my Facebook as well. So which is Spooky Astronauts YT, and you'll be able to see it. So don't worry too much about screenshotting this and writing it all down. You can definitely get a copy somewhere. And thank you to everyone who voted. It was insane. I actually have a lot of stats that I'm going to give you when we do the wrap up video. So I do a wrap up video at the end of the month or at the start of November where I talk about the best movies and the worst movies and the ones I recommend. It was crazy this year. If you didn't get named, I'm really sorry, but we had over 800 votes, which was insane. So just putting them onto a spreadsheet took days. I really want to thank you guys though, because you had some amazing creative movies that I've never seen before, and some that I can't even fit onto this list I will definitely be watching in the future. Okay, now all that's out of the way, let's scoot over a little bit so we can look at our letterbox. So the first movie I watched this month was Pledge. This is a new movie actually, and it is about, like, what do you call it? A sorority? Is it called a sorority if it's male? It was better than what I thought it was gonna be like, but kind of fell a little bit for me, but I still would recommend it to some of you guys. If you're into something that's indie about a different kind of topic, it doesn't really make much sense in the end. I'd still recommend it. I would. I know I gave it a 2.5, but I do think other people would enjoy it more than me, and I can see already here that a lot of you guys enjoyed it a little bit more than me. So I would recommend it for you guys. Next, I watched Scream 4. I think I watched all of the Screams last month, so I was just watching the last one. I love Scream 4. I'm definitely one of those people who are in the bandwagon with loving Scream 4. Oh my god, Sicilian Ghost Story. Whoa, I forgot about this movie. That was a crazy, weird movie. This is one that I really wanted to love, but in the end, it just like was really trying to get somewhere and I was not going along with it. As you can see here, it says it is about a boy who vanishes and then his classmate. It's kind of like their bond together, and his dad is like involved with like a whole heap of like mafia things, and they kind of have this relationship when they're not together, kind of in their dreams, and it's a beautiful story. I liked the idea of it, but the execution wasn't all there for me. I then rewatched Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm actually surprised I only gave it 3.5, but I really like that movie. I guess that makes sense. I watched Midsummer, which I've done 2 videos on. People keep asking me if I've seen Midsummer. I've done 2 videos on it if you've missed them. I don't know. Sometimes YouTube does that. I watched The Evil Dead. Sorry, it's not The Evil Dead. It's Evil Dead because the remake dropped the. I watched this for Does This Offend You? I did with Nightmare Maven, and highly recommend it if you haven't seen the remake. I think it's an amazing remake. I watched Saint Agatha. Even though I heard that it wasn't that great, I still wanted to kind of judge it for myself. It's about like nuns who get like pregnant women into like a halfway house and then they just mistreat them. It was a bit weird. And then I watched Firstborn, which I feel like I've blocked this from my memory completely. A young couple's lives are turned upside down when the birth of their first child is accompanied by terrifying entities that threaten their newly formed family. What is this movie? This is bad. I blanked this from my brain. I need to look this up. Holy crap. Yeah, I have seen this. Obviously, I don't recommend it. I totally forgot about this movie. How much did I give it? I gave it 2 stars, so there you go. I was probably waiting for it to be over. Anyway, moving on, watch Muriel's Wedding, which is an Australian classic. Toni Collette. I'm just a huge fan of this movie and everything it stands for. It's just a beautiful, like, outcast oddball. She is trying to be something she's not. It's one of those kind of stories. Lovely, lovely movie. I then watched She-Devil, which I definitely think I've seen this before. I watched the Muriel's Wedding, and then Stan, which is an Australian streaming service, recommended She-Devil straight afterwards, so I went for it, and then afterwards it recommended Desperately Seeking Susan that has Madonna in it. Yeah, that was a weird time in my life. I obviously did not like that very much. I then watched Bug. This was the other film that paired with Evil Dead for Does This Offend You? It's also based on a theatre production, which I did not know, but it makes so much more sense. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend. And then I watched Late Night, went and saw this at the cinema. This is the Mindy Kaling and Emma Thompson film about like late night TV, and she's a writer. I didn't mind it. I thought it was cute, nothing special. And then I watched Blue Velvet. Is anyone else mad at me for this 3 star rating? It just wasn't my favorite David Lynch film. I have seen parts of it before, but it just drifts away. Like, a lot of David Lynch films do. I've seen Mulholland Drive, I don't even know how many times, but sometimes parts of that movie just like drift away in my brain, and then I watch it again and I'm like, wow, I don't even remember it was about that. But that's David Lynch for you. He's an enigma. He's a surrealist. I love it. I then watched probably one of my favorite films of this year. I can't even believe how much I am obsessed with this film, American Honey. Why did it take me so long to watch it? This is not a horror movie by any means. This is a oh my God, I just love this movie. This is a movie about what do they call themselves? A magazine sales crew. And they I guess they're, you know, out on their luck. People living in, some kind of poverty. I wouldn't say it was like poverty, but people living in, you know, bad situations, especially this girl, God. And they are surrounded by each other and they fall in love in a weird way, and it's about their life. I don't know how to explain it. This movie was 2 hours, nearly over 2 hours. This movie was nearly 3 hours, and it was just this emotional journey that I was obsessed with every moment. I don't know how to explain this movie, but it's just a beautiful slice of life, and it's so real and it's really raw. I really love this movie. This was something very special. I then watched Charlie Says because I was about to watch, as you see, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and obviously I'd watched The Haunting of Sharon Tate, so I wanted to make sure I covered all of the Charles Manson films that were released this year. I thought it was actually quite good. I gave it 3. I think it kind of dragged on a little bit and it was a little bit confusing what the purpose of the film was. Not the purpose, but the intent, I guess, behind it. But I do think it was really well acted, and it was kind of creepy in some parts, and yeah, I thought it was good. It was interesting because it's about the girls like Sadie and stuff who go to prison instead of just being about Charlie, so it's about them being brainwashed. It's quite sad. I then watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I actually liked it, which was the surprise of the century. I'm not the hugest Quentin Tarantino fan. I'm not a hater. I like Death Proof, I like Jackie Brown, and I like Reservoir Dogs. That's about it. But this film I thought was really well done. I've given it a 7. I think that's a good score for me for a Tarantino film. I was quite impressed. I probably won't watch it again, but it was a good ride. I then watched Midsummer for a second time just to let it seep in. I did that before I did my second video. I then watched The Nightingale. I have a review on that. I then finally watched Ma because, you know, Ma never came to Australia, so I finally got to see it. I was so disappointed by Ma. I couldn't even believe how bad it was, and I don't know if it was, what was it, like things were cut out, things were mishmashed. A lot of people said I wasn't missing much, but I wanted to obviously make up my own mind. I thought it was just gonna be cheesy, and that's why people didn't like it. I didn't understand that the structure was just all messed up and it was just all over the place. I did think it was really well acted. I just think it was the structure of the film that didn't make much sense. I think they should have been really simple. Anyway, I then watched Shopping Mall, and I watched that for a Patreon hangout. Shout out to them. That was a ride. I think that's the second time we've watched it together. And then I watched both of the Jacob's Ladders, obviously the new one, and before that I watched the original one to refresh myself. I then watched In Fabric, which I've done a review on. Please go check that out. And then I watched Disobedience. Wow, there was a scene in that. I don't know if anyone's seen it. It's a very interesting film. It's got Rachel McAdams in it, and it's about a woman who goes back to her Jewish Orthodox town in England and meets the people that she left behind, let's say that. It's got some steamy scenes in it. I then watched Rachel Getting Married, which was an Anne Hathaway film it's like an A24 film, so it's kind of like an indie-ish kind of film. It's about her. She's like a recovering addict, and I watched all these happy movies in a row, I tell you what. By the way, the last one I was talking about is not a happy movie. This one is like a drama. She goes back, she has like a week off rehab, like out of rehab to go to her sister's wedding. She messes everything up, and it's one of those movies where you just feel awkward about it the whole time. Yeah, so enjoy that. I then watched Lady World, which I did have every intention of reviewing, but some films are indie and some films are very indie, and sometimes I just don't want to tear into something that's independent. I understand, it's hard to say, but I just felt like I didn't have enough to say for a review that wasn't like 3 minutes of me just like being rude. I would not recommend Lady World, but I do know a couple of people who've liked it, but it was just not for me. I then watched Burn, which again, I had a full intention of watching this, and this is not an indie film by any means, but I just didn't feel like I had enough to say about it. It's about a girl who's, she works in a petrol station, and then a guy comes in to try and rob her. Watch the trailer, because the trailer, it looks really good from the trailer anyway, but it turns out that she kind of wants to team up with him because she's so lonely, and it's kind of like a weird stalker film where she kind of takes control of the situation, and it's just very awkward. Awkward in a good way, but I think that the film had such a good setup and then just kind of went the wrong way. Watch the trailer. The trailer is very different to the film, but it gives you a better idea of what the story was meant to be. I still recommend watching it on a slow afternoon. It's not a lot to keep up with. The story seems pretty consistent and the characters are very consistent, so there's no like wow factor. I then watched Itsy Bitsy, which I have a review on. So out of this month, I definitely would recommend Scream 4, I'm sure you guys have seen it, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Midsummer, Evil Dead, Bug, and Jacob's Ladder Original. Those are all the horrors, also in fabric for sure. And then for non-horror movies, I would recommend American Honey, hands down, so good. And Disobedience maybe, The Nightingale, which is kind of horror-ish. Yeah, I did watch a lot of good films. You can see I just went up, down, up, down, up, down this month. TV, again, a huge part. I don't know how I get through so many TV series. I watched Euphoria this month. I was expecting it to be, I don't know, like really overdone, but I really got into the storyline and it's so fast paced and just really gripping. I only watched it because Barbie Ferreira is in it and I'm a huge fan of her. I followed her for years on Instagram. She is this amazing model and I just love her. I love everything about her. So that's why I watched it and I fell in love with like the whole cast, and all of the stories are very interesting. If you don't know anything about it, it is a super edgy TV show and it's actually by the same director as Assassination Nation. And it's very much, it reminds me of Skins, if you ever watch Skins. Like a lot of like younger kids taking drugs, rock and roll, all that stuff, party. But it's very serious and it goes into their backstories. And this one's a lot more stylized, but I do see kind of similarities between the two series. I really liked it, by the way. I will definitely watch season 2. There's some characters I was like, yeah, boring, but there's some characters I was obsessed with. I then watched the new Handmaid's Tale season 3. Oh my God. I'm a big fan of Handmaid's Tale, obviously, but season 3, I get told by people that it was boring. My friend Fritz, hey Fritz if you're out there watching, and Megan, I know that you didn't like where they took June's character, but my gosh, was that an exciting season? Oh my God, at the end, could you believe it? I couldn't. I was so obsessed with this season. I actually thought it was better than season 2. If you haven't watched it yet, go watch it because it really shook me. I also watched I Love You Now Die, which is a 2-part series. It's not really like a TV show, but it's about the girl who, you would probably know about this story, it happened in America, who texted her boyfriend and told him to like kill himself. Or convinced him. It's a very, I mean, there's a lot of details around the situation, but it shows like both kind of sides. And in this 2-part HBO series, I believe it is. It was very interesting, very sad, and very good to watch with someone and have that conversation with. I watched with my friend and we were just talking nonstop about how crazy this was and should it be against the law? I know that you're probably saying, of course it should be if you say that, but it was just like the technicalities and the way that things were said and why they could make certain judgments and why they couldn't, because you've got to know the situation. I'm not saying that she was innocent. I don't think so at all. I think she was awful. But when you hear about the whole story, it's very interesting to see how it took place and what actual, I don't want to say anything, but what actual things they're fighting against, because it's very tricky and it's only 1 second of difference it could make to change the whole sentencing. That was such an interesting look at that, and hopefully they'll bring in laws to like stop people like that and online bullying and all that kind of stuff. But obviously these are new kind of laws that they have to bring in place because all of this stuff wasn't around before. The last thing that I started watching was, we started watching Sopranos. We're already on season 2. I wasn't a huge fan going in. I mean, I'm all about the mobster thug life. I'm a big fan of Goodfellas and I love the whole Italiana, Jersey. I love that kind of stuff. So I was very much into the idea of it, but it has a very slow start. Towards the end of the first season, I was obsessed. So I'm really excited to see where it goes. I've never seen Sopranos before, believe it or not. And I'll give you guys a little hint. I'm sure you guys know this. It's so fun watching something like we did it with Veronica Mars that came out so long ago, so you have so many seasons to watch it all, and where everyone else, when they first watched it, they had to wait, you know, episode by episode, and we can just watch 8 hours in a row. Not that we do that, we're very responsible adults. As always, here is the Name That Film board. Guys, it's been going strong. I'm so sorry for my bad handwriting here, but as you can see, Fritz the cat is killing it as always. Michael, you've stepped up. You're doing so well. Danny, always. Misery Pop is killing it. Ben has come in so fast. So proud of you. And Limbs Demon, you've done also an amazing job. If you guys want to know what this board is for my Instagram. I do Instagram lives where we play a game. You have to guess the film that I give you clues for. If you want to get on my board, all you have to do is play. Go and follow me on Spooky Astronauts on Instagram, and I go live every Wednesday morning, which is usually your Tuesday night if you're in America, but come join the fam. Okay guys, monthly mission. You don't have to do anything. You've done the work. Give yourself a pat on the back. We raised 600 Canadian dollars for Dave. If you guys came to my last stream, if you didn't, you might not know. I did a stream a couple of weekends ago where I did a lot of interactive games, and we chatted and we hung out, and I went a little bit crazy and I painted my face green, and it was it was fun. I love you guys for like being good sports and getting my sense of humor and just having fun with me and being goofy. Sometimes we need to do that. We did this to raise money for Dave, and Dave is a friend of mine who's also a Patreon, but he is a friend of mine who has been diagnosed with bowel cancer. Unfortunately, Dave has had some more complications since the stream and is getting surgery, urgent surgery in Toronto. So sending him 600 Canadian dollars was such a pleasure and just showed how much we were behind him. Dave, if you're watching, we love you. We love you so much. And we know you can get through this, and we're here for you. And if you guys want to say anything to Dave down in the comments, please do, because I know he'll read it. And you know, he's having a hard time still. So I was just very proud of you guys for pitching in and, you know, showing your support. And I can't believe we raised that much money. I probably thought we were probably maybe 200, 300, but 600 is just insane, guys. I love you so much, and thank you for doing that. And if you did see a live stream, you can go check it out. It's really funny. I just kind of lose my mind. I got up at 4 a.m. to do it. Actually woke up at 3:30 a.m. actually, and went crazy online for 2 hours, and it was amazing. So thank you guys so much for being such an amazing community and having my back and having everyone else's back. You're the best, you really are. And if you want to come meet me, come to LA. The link is down below. But I'm gonna leave it there today. I hope you guys are having an awesome day, and I hope you're having an awesome week and an awesome month, and I hope you're ready for 31 Days of Horror. I'm gonna sing you out with the theme song once again, just to hype us up before we go. But thanks for being here, and if you like the video, give it a like. If you want to subscribe, please do, because 31 videos are coming your way. And I hope you guys have a good one. Stay spooky. Bye.